evening, morning, noon, whatever it is for you. Welcome back to another live stream from this very studio. And I'll just leave that up back there. Today, we will check out the Wanhao Duplicator 7 again. Last time, we ended the stream with sort of an unsuccessful tryout of this thing. I think that there was only one thing wrong, which was the LED didn't turn on. I gotta say, I have not used this machine since. It's literally been sitting in a corner because whenever I do these things and figure these things out, I figure it's nice to have you guys around and to show you the process. So I did prepare for I feel like I keep saying this. So I did prepare for the stream slightly beforehand, so I did check out the software. I looked through the settings. I think I know what's wrong. I've also kind of built up this printer again because I took out the resin vat and the build platform, I guess that's what it's called, from the box that it's been sitting in for, I don't know, the last few months, etc. The one thing I actually did notice, so this is just a clear IKEA box. This is PP. It's been sitting down here. This is usually a dark room when it's not lit. But the resin on here, the only place where it's actually hardened is... yes, camera magic. Today I've got quite a bit of tech going on because this printer is using one of the HDMI outputs on my streaming laptop. So the only place where it's actually hardened is back here. You can kind of see it peeling up right there. In the back, but the actual resin in the vat and on the platform, this is all still liquid stuff, so I'm not going to touch that. The thing is, what I actually noticed is, or what I kind of conclude from that, being in an open box and that there's the scraper in here, that this is all still liquid. I really shouldn't worry as much about leaving the lid on or turning the lights off or peeking inside while it's printing. Last time we tried this, I turned off all the lights. I just had the laptop and the screens here illuminating the space, and it was really hard to work with. But yeah, I don't think I need to worry about that as much. So take a sip. Yes, I will grab a beverage in a second. Thank you, Vladimir Wolka, for the tip. By the way, are you guys hearing the notification sounds? I think you should. Yes, price is in the description if you want to check this thing out. It's linked on AliExpress. I think it's like $600 for this thing, plus you get, what is this, 250 milliliters of the, I think this is clear resin with it. You will need a few accessories. You will need some, I think these are nitrile gloves. As far as I know, the resin will deteriorate latex gloves, so these you need, and some sort of cleaner. I'm using a Printer Pro Printer Clean. That is overexposed, but yeah, this is basically an alcohol-based cleaner, and it's meant to clean print beds, but it works really, really well.
I appreciate your effort.
Resin stuff as well.
Keep it up, smile.
Thank you, Blendercroft, for 5 years. Yes, effort. So before you bring it up, yes, there is still a lot of stuff going on with TiVo. This is not the time to discuss it. This is not the right time on a live stream. I will keep repeating myself, so I don't really want to discuss it right now. Yeah, I will cover that at another date. All right, a bit loud. Well, turn down your speakers. Oh, the announcement. I'm sorry about that. So yeah, I'll turn it down in a second. So my goal today is to keep my, which way was I planning it? To keep my left hand clean, I believe, because once you get resin on your gloves and you start touching stuff, it's gonna get everywhere. It's just, it's gonna be a film. It's gonna get on your. I mean, you can already see like the dirt on here. It's just gonna spread everywhere. So I think my left hand, that's going to stay remain clean, and my right hand, I will reach into resin if I need to. Right now, fresh gloves, they are clean. Let me just turn down the volume of that notification. -5 dB, that should help. All right, so there is still a bit of resin in here. You might be able to see that. It is not quite So right hand filthy. Also paper towels. Always keep paper towels at hand when you're working with this stuff. People are asking about the smell of the resin. Actually, the stuff that's in here, I think the smell is pretty much gone at this point, because it's not quite as nasty as it was last time. But as you can see, it's still liquid in there. So left hand clean. I feel like I'm gonna have to clean up everything once I'm done here. So this stuff is still pretty liquid. I think it did attack the whatever coating it is on the build platform here. This stuff is also still very liquid, and it did, grab a bit of blackness from this. So this used to be a bit clearer, but I think it should still work. Already getting resin everywhere. It should still work. I will add a bit of fresh resin to that after we check out the softer side of things. Why did I put on glove and reach into the resin if I'm going to work on the laptop? Yes. All right, so I did notice I do have some resin on these nuts. So just a quick clean off. This stuff really works well. It is, as far as I know, it is just an ethanol. So yeah, alcohol plus water in a bottle. The spray bottle is really nice. It doesn't degrade with the alcohol as like regular bottles do. So yeah, if you want to grab the bottle and refill it yourself, totally recommend it. Did I test the C8 filament already? No, I did not. The printed part, does it smell? Does it smell? No, the printed parts, once it's cured, it is actually a different material chemically. What's it called? It links, the resin links, and it becomes hard, and it's not it is very different chemically and physical to the raw resin. So the raw resin, if you touch it, safety first. If you touch it, it's not going to do much to your skin, but it is going to sensitize your immune system if you get it on your skin too often. And after that, if you get it on your skin one more time, you're going to get a huge reaction. So you don't want to do that. If you get something on your fingers, clean it off immediately. But also the resin is pretty nasty and smelly, but once the part is actually fully cured and cleaned off and done, it is a nice, robust, clear part that you can touch, that doesn't smell, that is chemically resistant to a lot more things that the resin isn't. So yes, polymerize, yeah, I guess that stuff. Latex gloves work better than nitrile. More like jelly. Which ones do I have? Nitrile. Supposedly nitrile is more resistant. Okay, anyways. Yes, resin, this is the same precautions you should be taking when working with epoxy. Epoxy is the same nasty resin stuff. How many rows of paper towels? I only have one. If we work through that, I'm gonna need to get some more. Right. So we are already hooked up. Yeah, can't really see much there. So we are already hooked up. I already did prepare ahead of time. How do I touch this without, I guess, for this guy? So this printer, unlike FDM machines, doesn't just take power and USB. It also requires an HDMI link. And this is actual real HDMI. There's just a phone screen basically right in here under the VAT. And this is linked up to my laptop's HDMI output. So that's why I've got like two different laptops here. You actually can see that, nice. Two different laptops powering everything. This actually uses a screen output. So this needs to be basically a 4K capable output. It uses 1440p resolution basically. And well, I guess a 4K output will do that. Most recent laptops will be capable of driving this. But keep this in mind, this works just like a display output for your computer. So what should we do? Let's turn it on. It's going to be noisy. It does have a fan in it that just spins. My screen just flickered. I'm hoping we're not crashing anything here. Getting started. That's a bit too black for my taste. 1 second while I fix this. Hello, display capture? Sorry about this. So that's just the fan in the box right now. OBS Studio and Display Capture. I'm gonna have to restart the stream real quick. I'm sorry. I'll be back in a second. This is starting out. This is starting out well. Give me a second, probably 30 seconds or so. This hotkey isn't working. Magic. Think it worked. All right. Yeah. So just to follow up on the resin, this is very similar to the way that epoxy resin works. Instead of working with a hardener that you mix in, this works with light as a hardener, and it's the same sort of stuff for your body, for your immune system, as epoxy. So if you don't like working, if you're saying, hey, I'm not going to use this, then you better not use epoxy either, because it's virtually the same stuff. All right, are we good to go? Yes, I checked. NVIDIA Optimus ran on the wrong graphics processor. I don't know, the stuff you have to deal with. What software is it good for making supports? We're going to check that out in a second. I think we're going to use supports as well. Yeah, if you don't use epoxy either, I can understand that. Again, that's why I keep the gloves around. I'm very careful with epoxy, and I would recommend you being as careful too. It is, you don't want to get that you don't want to get your immune system sensitized for that sort of stuff. All right, there was the culprit. Ran on the wrong graphics processor. Whatever. All right, so Creation Workshop. That is the software that's supposed to be used for the D7. Am I clipping him, by the way? I don't think I am. I'm seeing some red in OBS. Creation Studio. So this is I think an open source software even, or freeware or something along those lines. And this handles everything from slicing to sending the image over to your printer, to controlling the z-axis, etc, etc. Yeah, so let's go into the settings and let's check out where we went wrong last time. So 3D view, slice view, that's basically what we're going to be sending to the printer. Right now it's black because the screen is all off, obviously. G-code, yes, control. When we connect to this thing, we can, move it up. Nope, that's there. We can move this thing around. This is basically the same electronics that an FDM 3D printer uses, plus the screen. So the screen is basically just added onto the rest of the electronics. It doesn't communicate with the screen at all, which is why you have the separate HDMI cord. Right. So this is all fine and good. And configure. Let's check this out. So the point where we were kind of struggling last time was the build size, because we had like 3 different manuals and 3 different was open source. Okay. So yeah, that was one of the points where we struggled finding the right sizes for the build size, because we had 3 different manuals and 3 different dimensions given there, and I still don't think they're correct. But so this is reasonable, I'd say. Configure display 2560 by 1440. That's the right one. I'm not capturing the mouse cursor. Yay! Capture cursor. Okay, there we go. So display, that's the right one. Projector control, we don't have any control there. Z-axis, that's the only thing that we can do. And we can send manual G-code. Comport is the right one. Now, the culprit here is the slicing profile. We're going to go through these settings, slice thickness, exposure time, etc. Those are given. But what wasn't given was the G-code. This machine still runs off of G-code. It still prints from your regular serial port. But the thing is, the G-code is only the Z-axis move plus the light underneath the screen. So what's actually projected, that's in the G-code. Hold on. What's actually projected, the actual layers are not in the G-code. Those are sent through HDMI to the screen directly. The G-code only controls up, down, and I guess it could control the fan if there was a fan down here, and the LED that powers the resin vat. So, G-code. Let's see, what we were using right here, start. Set units to millimeter, relative positioning, enable motors. That's that. We created a new profile for the D7. However, what we need was this line right here, turn the fan on. This is actually, if you ran this line on a traditional FDM printer, yeah, this would just turn on your part cooling fan. I guess that is a simple way of just controlling any output on a regular control board. In this case, it is turning on the actual LED that is exposing too many things going on at once. That is exposing the resin. So that line was missing when we first used it. So what we had in there was just that line missing. So what happened last time was, thank you for the mod, by the way. What happened last time was we started the print, we put the lid on, we didn't check for, well, I did check, but you can't really see underneath this thing. And what turned out, or what ended up printing was just an empty plate. So nothing actually exposed because the actual exposure LED didn't turn on. And I think that's just this one line missing, because if we sent that line manually, M106 S255, that actually does turn on the LED. So we need this one thing in there, and profile in use default has that line in there. That sounds reasonable, right? Lift, turn the LED off. Okay, let's leave that in there. I don't know how that got messed up there and how that ended up, leaving out the LED controls, but default, we're going to use the default G-code settings, and that should be okay. Now let's go through the I printed an air cube. I printed a liquid part, I guess. Right, let's go through Resin 66. It's interesting. Default? Yeah. Whatever that 66 is. Let's go through the quick start guide one more time. So, software installed, unpacked and connected cables. We've got that. We've got the machine running. Configure screen resolution. We've done that. This may sometimes appear as 1440 by 2560. So yes, that is correct. Switch on, connect, configure build size and object, slice object. There we go. Slice thickness from 20 micron to 100 micron. Exposure time from 4 seconds to 12 seconds. And bottom exposure time from 50 seconds to more than... that's a few minutes. Okay. Click apply changes. So let's actually take those over there. So slice thickness, 0.1, exposure time, 12 seconds, bottom exposure. So I guess that just fuses the first layer to the print platform really, really well. Anti-aliasing, we're going to leave that on there. Okay. And this stuff, lift distance 4 millimeters. Sounds reasonable. Reflect X, I guess that's flip or mirror or something. All right. Do we save this somehow? Apply. Cool. Saved. Done. Have it done a dry run? I will do a dry run. We will also need to... I guess we can show it best here. I will also retram this platform so it sits flat in the vat. Flat inside the vat resin. I did have this vat resin and the build plate out. So I will try to readjust it before we start a print. We do want that to stick to the first layer. So control, we are connected. Let's actually show you what's happening when we, when we send that command. So I know that might cure the resin in here slightly. So there's the build plate. I guess you can kind of see that. Shouldn't put my finger in the fan. So build plate up here. I guess I gotta show you on this side. Build plate up there, right there, and that's the resin vat. And underneath this resin vat is the screen with a separation layer. So if we actually send... No. Hotkeys. Off. That's not what I want. Okay, anyways. If we send M106 S255. So that is, again, on a typical FDM 3D printer, that would be turn on the... There should be video here. Whatever. There should be... that's just the fan on. If we hit send, 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, you can kind of see it light up down here. This is like a very deep purple color. You can't really see it on camera, interestingly, but you can kind of see the glow. I guess these cameras do have a UV filter in there. And if you send S0, send, yeah, you can kind of see that darkening down. So that is actually the command to turn on and off the LED right there. Why not just remove the tray? Yes. At this point, there's no real reason to remove the tray. We can remove the build plate if you want to, but again, there's no real reason to do that. The only things we're going to have to do is to fill in some fresh resin. 200 seconds, way too high for the resin. Here we go. This was one of the issues that we actually had. One of the issues we had in the original stream. There were so many different options given for how to configure this thing, and in the end, I think we ended up at something that didn't really work out. A streaming computer would do me wonders. I do have a streaming computer here that is basically dedicated to this, but I then need another computer to be my working computer that I can screen cap from. So I need another capture card. And right. Fine details. So 200 seconds is way too long. Download the presets. Let's just catch up on chat. That is on the different computer today. Crap. Resin was on default in the manual. Download the presets. Is the resin proprietary? No, it is not. You can use most other SLA resins. Have I tried Formlabs? No, I have not. Now the gloves are dirty. These are I cleaned these a second ago. Am I aware of the pre-configured creation workshop Wanhao released? No, I am not aware of that. The manual doesn't make any mention of that. So should we... Question to chat. Should we try and print with these settings, or should we go the extra step and download the recommended Wanhao creation workshop preset? Am I using black Wanhao? No, this is clear, I think. What does it say? Doesn't say anything on here. 20 minutes? That's not how seconds and milliseconds work. Extra step. Print. Just download. Okay, Rich Rep is saying download, so that's the definitive answer there. So let's check this out. That's the wrong laptop. There we go. Download software for the Duplicator 7. USB driver, we have that firmware. Cura? Really? It is available on the... Okay, so I guess that is Wanhao support. Let's check that out. Do you have to have a very well ventilated room for Tricura? For working with this? Well, it's gonna smell. I don't know how harmful the smell is actually, but let's see, support files and documentation. Software install. And we're back to... Wow, Wanhao, holy crap. Take it easy. Pre-configured with Resin profiles. Current release. So is this site administrator? Is this an actual... I guess this is gonna be the one, right? Black resin. This is clear resin. At least it looks clear to me. Yeah. No? Yes? Demonetized. Nah, YouTube isn't that crazy. Data E creation workshop. G-codes, quick setup, creation workshop. Oh, don't even have to install that. So let's close this out and open the other one. Use an ad blocker. I do have an ad blocker, by the way. I don't know how that... well, I guess Wanhao needs to do a bit of a better job modding their forums, especially when it's like the official software download for this machine. Alright, so this is preset up for 50 microns, Wanhao D7 scene nothing, so let's see what we have here. 120 by 67.5 by 200, sounds reasonable. Configure slicing profiles, 50, we get a few presets, nice. Bottom exposure, 65 seconds exposure, so this looks like, yeah, something that's usable. Let's check the G-code real quick. There's the LED enable, okay, lift. Off, on, looks good. Looks good to me. Slice profile in use. Let's actually switch to the 100 micron. I do want to get something done. So 80 seconds on the first layer and 40 seconds on the thicker ones. Interesting. All right. Clear resin, yeah, so it is roughly in the right ballpark. Right. Yeah, on the topic of ad blocks, I don't condemn anyone using ad blocks. I use them myself. I earn money with ads, yes, but I don't like to look at ads. So there are other ways to support your creators. By the way, slicing profile page for the resin you have. Slicing profile page. Oh, do we get to... cool, we get to choose different resins too. So this is... white? What is this stuff? So, I don't know, I think this is like a clear or something. Wanhao clear. 100 microns. Yeah. Still doesn't change anything. Let's just stick with that. It sounds close enough. So, let's see if I can figure this out. Object. Can we just drag and drop? Let's see. Okay. Question. What should Bunny Marvin? What is the Bunny Marvin? Question. What should we print? Actually, did I pick the proper resin? I think it's a clear. You can't really see it if it's in black. Come on. If it's in black containers, but... What does the bottle say? Bottle says nothing. It literally just says Wanhao Resin, and that's it. That is the bottle right there. That is nice and blurry. Wanhao 3D printing resin. That's the bottle that came with it. Wear safety gloves. Shake well. Blah blah blah. But there is a QR code on there, but I don't think that actually indicates the color. So this is the bottle we have. Bottle says do not drink. That is good. So for starters, I don't want to... Shirts, you can get these at tomsweet.org/ribbit. I don't want to start with something like this. I don't want to start with with an Adalindo, an Aria, or something really complex. Something simple. Benchy. Benchy sounds good. Benchy, yeah. Benchy. We're going to scale it down, though. The full-size Benchy at this scale, this is probably going to take... I don't know, 100 micron layers, probably 4, 5, 6 hours or something. You do the math. At least half or quarter scale or something. Last frog escaped. Thanks for modding that. Benchy at 25. Okay, Benchy, let's do that. Where do I have my 3D Benchy? There we go. Alright, object info. Yeah. I like how it actually tells you how much volume it has, because that is going to be the exact amount of resin it uses up. Cost, nothing. I guess we didn't set a resin cost, but if you're not familiar with resin printers, the resin is pretty expensive compared to filament. It has come down quite far in price. It's come down really well in price, but it is still 3, 4, 5 times as expensive as filament, depending on which filament and or resin you buy. And I'm already losing track where I have resin and where I don't. This mouse feels clean. So move, we're just going to keep it in the center. Question to those of you who have already used these machines: should we rotate this and put it up on supports, or should we just print it like that? Smallest Benchy we can print. Let's keep it easy for now. So scale all, let's drop it down to 25. Enter? Oh, there we go. So object info, there we go. 0.243 cubic centimeters. That is tiny. That is really tiny. No need for support. Cool. 25. Yeah, I really don't want to make this too slow, or too long to print. All right. Rotate. That's all good. That's all. Let's just leave it like that. Automatic. Where do we slice this? Slice view? No. I did this before. How do I slice this? Let's check the manual, shall we? Deformed like that? Tiny Benchy, no supports, lift and rotate. Resin pools, leave it like that. It's interesting how much chat disagrees with themselves. Click to load slice. Ah, we need the cake button. There's the cake button. Okay, yeah. Build time an hour. That is long enough for me. Laid flat, half true surface laid sideways, basically. Click the cake. Like, who got the idea that I get it, a slice of cake, but that is the slice view. Okay, so these are basically the layers that we're getting as we move up the print, and that's actually what's going to get projected out onto the LCD screen right there. And the actual screen is actually one screen over from my laptop's main screen right now, so you can move the mouse over. You can Alt Tab out of the window for your printer. You can see it pop up down here. If we actually get the serial port, etc., right? Where was that? Serial port. Am I blind? Here we go. Configure serial port, refresh, COM7, there we go. Okay. Connect. Enable serial. Connect. Why are you not connecting? Can we get it like a... some sort of terminal output? No? Display homing. Doesn't have a vet that moves. This sounds right. These are the exact same settings that we had in the other creation workshop. Forget this bit. That is... oh, machine connection. Project... oh, okay. I get it. We don't have projector control, but we do have machine connection control. There we go. That's better. Connect. If there was a wizard, I'd shout out connect and it would connect, but it... do we... oh. Ha! There we go! There's a big apply button that is nowhere where you'd expect an apply button. Okay. Z up. Okay, that's working. That's working. I think we still have a bit of wobble in the Z-axis, or Z-axis, depending on where you're from. Let's check that out. Let's move up 10 millimeters again. That looks reasonably smooth. Split in half will be okay. Okay, slice view. Got that 3D view. Perfect. And I guess that's our play. But first, before... there we go. Slice view. That's going to be our start print, I guess. Before we do that, there is no home in the... let's check that out. There is no homing in the actual start G-code. Yes, so we need to start at the very bottom, and we will need to configure the build platform again. So, yes, you can print 2 to 3 benches at the same time. That is a good point. Because the entire layer is always exposed at the same time. It doesn't matter if you only have like a tiny part on it. It's a full screen exposure, full area exposure. The entire thing gets exposed at once, so it doesn't matter if you just have a single benchy on there or the entire build platform full of parts. So that's one of the upsides of this style of printer, of this style of SLA printer. If you have one that uses a sort of laser or tracking laser exposure, yep, that's the right one, you will see a downgrade over, you know, how much area you use up. But in this case, the fan spinning down? Like what? Interesting. Yeah, so that's also something that you have as an advantage over FDM printers. FDM is that same thing where you have just a single line that's being printed at one time, at one point. With SLA, you basically have the entire thing exposed at once. So we just dropped down the bed into its home switch, optical end switch, bright blue LED in there. So that should be another hint that the resin isn't actually that sensitive to light, or to ambient light. Let's open up these screws on the side a bit more. So what we're trying to do here is to get this build plate to lay flat in the resin. And I think it's doing that right now. Can't really lift it up. Yes, I can. So it's sucking itself up. Let's drop in some more resin from, I guess, this used. That should be okay. Make a few different benchies. I think I will do that in a second once I get my gloves off. There we go. So resin. I think I'll just add a few more parts to the... Pay attention to the color of this resin, by the way. This is, I think this qualifies as clear. This is like a... I don't know if it's gray or clear or something. It's not totally glass clear, but it is certainly... I wouldn't call it opaque. I said that should be enough. Yeah. Trying to avoid making a bigger mess than what we started out with. So that's what it wipes down to. Is that gray? I don't know, almost has like a greenish tint to it. Looks like tea. I don't know what tea you drink, man. I wouldn't want that. Ah! Don't drop it on the floor. Yeah, step on it once and you're gonna have it everywhere. It's black. Is that what black resin looks like? Wow. that looks like everything but black to me. Okay. I guess we're gonna have to change the settings. So, resin on my fingers. Right hand yes, left hand no. Let's move this back up a bit just to get it to suck the resin under the build plate. There we go. The thing is, with this machine being all black, it's kind of hard to show on camera. So, I mean, obviously, all you're going to be seeing is black and black, and you can't really get an angle in there. So, I guess I can offer the overhead, but that's way off to the side. Let's home that again. Lock the build plate. Yes, I know. I'm just trying to agitate the resin for a second before we... oh. Look at this. It's interesting how the fan shuts off when the Z-axis moves. Let's do that again. I know that the tray is loose. I'm gonna tighten that in a second. As soon as we... Oh. Nice. Yeah, you can kind of see the wobble there. I might just have to open the motor coupling and readjust that. Okay. So now we can tighten down these screws that hold the build plate in place. And I think this doesn't need to be like super tight, but at least to a point where it's not going to suck itself down and you know, lose its positioning on the first layer. Just holding this here, not pushing on it. Okay, you can kind of see that the torque from this screw is actually lifting up the vat. This isn't the most rigid Z-axis ever. Then again, it doesn't need to be, theoretically. There's an anti-wobble part you can print for the top. Typically you don't... It's the same as with FDM 3D printers. If you have wobble... Let's actually pan that up just a bit more. Ha! If you have wobble, you don't really need to put anything on the top. It's more about the bottom where your motor connects to get that wobble out, because that's where it's coming from. It's not coming from the top. It's coming from the bottom. Fix the issue and not don't just work around it. Single start lead screw. I think a different coupler should really help here. Okay, you have to press on the build plate gently. Okay, say so. A certain Tenacious D song is coming up in my head. So Gently. Where? Just get that finger in there. So at this point I definitely have resin on my right index finger. Most definitely. Need to press. Okay, how gently? I'm pressing gently. Can you mix different resins? I wouldn't. PTFE tube is coupling. That is interesting. I think PTFE would be a bit too rigid. Okay. Yeah. Nasty. Okay, I'm hoping that is pushed down well enough. I don't feel any movement as I press down a bit further. So this should be a-okay. Yeah, and while we're at it, we can take off this semi-hardened resin from back here. And I'm gonna throw out this glove right about now. Okay, I won't need to get back into the resin bath. One tip, if you're taking off a glove that you're not gonna be using, like pull it off so that it's inside out. Don't want to get that resin on anything. Okay, I think we're good on the resin side. So, buttons, there we go. So as suggested, 3D view. So we have this one tiny benchy right in there. Let's see what else we have. Marvin, I thought I heard someone say Marvin. Let's see what Marvins we have. Marvin keychain netfab. Okay, I thought I saw one that was like bunny ears or something. Okay. Drag and drop apparently does not work. Oh, we could do the the make rook. Let's add that while we're at it. Move. Can we just can we not drag and drop this? But we can arrange it. Okay, that's good. Scale. Print benches at different scales. I don't want to go any further up from this. I might go down from this benchy. So we've got this one selected. Hit OK. Ooh, okay. That is too tiny. That is definitely 50. Oh, that's relative. Crap. So back to 200. 200 again. Okay. Maybe go to 80 of that. Same height. Same print time. Slice. Slice. Let's see if that prints correctly, if we get any part of the helix in the center. Oh, that is going to be absolutely tiny. But let's try it. I mean, not much that could go wrong, I guess. Marvin keychain. Maker's Muse torture test. I don't have that one. I might need to grab it. Come on, open. Yeah, massive Marvin right there. I wish this was absolute scale and not just relative to your current scale, so there we go. Move, arrange. Okay. And what else? What else? What else? What else? Maker's Muse, Maker's Muse, Maker's Muse. Okay, Maker's Muse. I hear you. I'll grab that in a second. What else are we gonna get? Another benchy, right? Benchy. Good job, Windows Search. Good job. 3D benchy. So the first one was at 25% scale. Let's drop this one down to 12.5. You have to I need to point, okay? Way to go. It's so tiny! But look, okay, this one is 7.5 millimeters tall. Yeah, we're not gonna go any smaller than that. That is definitely not worth it. Let's see. Maker's Muse Lattice. A Joel bot. Might throw it on there. Lattice Cube 3D printer, torture test, overhangs, and dual Laser Lord? Looks like it. Based on. That's not the one. Latest torture test. More coming soon. Where do I download these? Come on, Angus. Oh, I apparently don't have an ad blocker on this browser. Gumroad? Ah, Gumroad, okay. I want this. $5. Nah. 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 Oh, look, my stream. Let's see. Joel Robots STL. Reprinted Joel telling each other. All right, I'm not going to stick around too long for all these parts. Joel bot. Let's see if it's linked right there. No. Okay. I guess not, but we are well set with we have a 3D Benchy, we have a 25% 3D Benchy on here, we have a super tiny 3D Benchy on here, we have the Make Rook, which is based on the Formlabs Rook at, how do I select these things? At an even smaller scale. What is this? 50%, and we have a Marvin at I think 25% as well. Let's slice this 100 microns. Actually, before we do that, we need to pick the correct resin. So you guys are saying this is the black resin. It doesn't really look black to me, but let's apply this. 3D view, slice it again. Slice view. Thing. Where's that's on it. Okay. Those Thingiverse numbers sound is not already. People are posting some Thingiverse links. Give me a second. Thingiverse. Joelbot! Yes, there we go. Processing images. Cool. Save, open. Give me the files. Give me the files. Why can we read the text? Why can we read the text under the Benchy? In the preview? Well, there's text there. Why would you not be able to read it? Let's check back here. CT3D, why can we read it? Why is this not mirrored? That is a good point. Why is this this way up? I think it is because check it out, because if it's projecting like that and we pull it out of the vat, this is going to be backwards. I think there's some setting. We're going to see which way I don't think we're going to be able to read it. But there is no setting there. So this view might be mirrored from what we actually get. No, this is the exact same thing that's being projected. Might be that it's actually mirrored in the printer. I don't know, but it actually looks reasonable. Did I unpack this? Joel bought repaired. Okay. Joel bought repaired. This is probably gonna be huge. If it doesn't crash the there we go. Yeah, it does. Would that actually fit on the, where is it, size? Nope. That does fit. Holy moly, that does fit on the D7. You could print this in original scale. Wowzers. Okay, we're not going to do that now. How much? 50? That would use up half a bottle of the resin. But you could theoretically print it at original scale. That is crazy. It's absolute madness. And yes, this is just as jerky for me right now. This laptop is at its limits. Now 50%, again, this is going to be really tiny, but I don't want to make anything that is taller than these parts, since that would dramatically increase print time. There we go. Okay, there's our lineup. Let's slice that. Robot would need support. Whatever, let's just try it. Let's just try it. Slice. Did I hit cancel? Slice. There we go. Slice view. There's the robot, there's the Rook, there's the tiny Benchy, there's the big Benchy, and there's the Marvin. Some models might not make it, but that's a risk I'm willing to take. Cool, I guess at this point we can just hit print, right? Let's just try it. I'm gonna leave it open for a while. This is homed, right? So I can see that it's slightly pressing down. Let's just see how much of an issue that is going to be. So, I hit go. We are exposing. So the thing is, I don't want to go down here to the taskbar and actually hover over any of these windows, because if I do, it's gonna it's actually gonna hide this window on this screen in here right now. I cannot see anything glowing out of this screen right now, because obviously it is covered entirely by the build plate. So what I can see is down here. You probably cannot see that at all, but yeah, the camera is not picking that up. I think this is so close to UV that this camera is just filtering it out. But from this little tiny hole, I can actually see the UV LED glowing. Ah, you can actually see it from the back. So what you're seeing as blue in there, I think that is the actual exposure LED. The light in my studio is not a problem. It is probably a problem in the long term, but it should be fine for this one print. It's not going to ruin the resin. Yes, for long-term use, you probably want... Ah, there you go. And you're going to see the light turn back on. Still off. There we go. Now it's on. So that's that thing you're seeing glowing right there. That is actually the UV or near UV LED exposing the part or parts, since there is more than one in there. Cool. So yeah, this is going to be fairly boring, unfortunately. I'm wondering, do I need to add more resin? No, I don't think so. Moving it does not affect the print. I sure hope it doesn't. So you can kind of see it glowing. You are going to be able to see it glowing once this print head moves up slightly. The thing is, this is relatively sturdy, so this is an all-metal base. The base is not going to move. The only thing that might move is this arm right here. So yeah, not going to touch it. Not going to touch the arm, but I think moving the print around is not going to be really a big issue. Do not swap focus with Windows after you start the print. Yes, that is exactly what I mentioned a second ago. You should not, or at least you should keep this window right there. I'm not going to hover because that's going to highlight it. That window, that is actually what is going on in the print. So here we go. There's the next layer. So the first two layers are done. Those I think are the faster, the slower layers, the longer curing ones. Yeah. 56 minutes, cool. I think if you go over to slice view, yeah, that should be... Is that real time? I don't know. It might be. That might be coupled to what the printer is doing right now. Okay, 3 minutes 30 out of 56:44 done. Can I actually drop that into the... You didn't fasten the screws. I did fasten the screws. Slice view does not update. Cool. Am I gonna try the Raspberry Pi mod? Not sure. I have enough Raspberry Pis to take care of as is with Octoprint, etc. And since they're not the most secure thing, cool. Let's move through questions on chat real quick. This stream is not sponsored by Volt Cola, but they are supplying me with free Volt Cola, so thank you. Cool. So either I'm not smelling it anymore, or it just doesn't smell anymore, but I'm not noticing any smell. If I step outside, it will probably be painfully obvious, but this is yeah. It probably smells. Okay. Chat. Don't swap the slice projector screen. Okay, 3 minutes for you, senpai? Maybe. The screensaver is off. Yes. That's the streaming laptop. That is set to never turn off on its own, so that is going to stay on no matter what. Resin prints are stronger. I did actually do a video on the actual Formlabs. That is so nice and shiny in the background there. Yeah, I actually did do a video on the Formlabs demo piece, which is one of the, or similar to one of the prints we're doing right now. This Rook, this tower that we're doing, and tested how strong it was. Very unscientific, obviously, since it's a printed model and not a test piece. Turns out, yes, it is quite strong, as in just failure strength, but it is also very brittle. It is not failing like a filament where it just stretches a bit and then, you know, fails or tears or something like that. It literally shatters. So I tried it in a vise. I clamped it down there, and the ABS or PLA part, PLA cracked, ABS just deformed. The resin, it blew up. Somebody link the video if you want. Windows update? Nah. Somebody link the video if you want. It is a different type of strong. The resins are moving forward. There are different types of resins that are coming out, but it is not. It's probably not as durable as an FDM print. So, Vilko is saying, following my AliExpress link, he finds different versions. Which one am I using? I don't know. The different versions are probably just. You're right. There are different iterations of this one. I think this is the 1.4. There were a few different versions. You try to get the most recent one. I'm just faintly remembering this. Get the most recent version, and there might be different bundles with different resins included. Still a 1.4, yes. Still, I don't know if it's. Ooh. So many screens. You should see what I'm seeing. This is close to madness. One laptop. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. I'm sorry if 2 minutes ago you were not receiving enough data. Yes, part-time Ronin, that's the one. Thank you. I can't scroll. There we go. How many Raspberry Pis do I have? 4 plus a few different boards that are not exactly Raspberry Pis. Soda is bad for you, yes, but so is everything else. How is the Service Reborn going? Can we have an update? It's actually not... nothing has changed. It's still there. I'm not using it much. I'm using other printers more than I'm using the Service Reborn. I do have a few mods that I want to do, a few things I try on this machine. But yeah, not really using it for much.
For your
Think
next
for the €5
Volt
tip
Cola
on it.
smile.
For your next Volt Cola. I'm gonna invest it in coffee, I think. Less sugar and all. Yeah. Wanhao University nuking the forum software today to kill that spam issue. Thank you. Where's the little play button? Right there. Right there. You can't see it, but it's right there. It's on the other wall, on what used to be. This used to be the perspective you saw. Camera was pointing this way, and now it's pointing this way. If I rotated this thing 90 degrees, you'd see the old new studio. Moving up and down, doing its thing. I might actually put the lid on for... Should I put the lid on? I don't know. Nah, I'm just gonna leave it if the resin spoils. Whatever. Screw it. This is for the stream. For the stream. We can do these things. What about the Mendel 9000? Yes, also working on that. I've got a few things that are moving forward there, but I just have to find the time for it. Do I run Octoprint on all of my regular machines? Actually, no, I don't. It is great if you only have one machine, but if you have a few, it does become quite a job to just maintain those pies and keep them updated. And you power them off wrong once, and you have to reset it. It's SD cards for what I'm doing is, you know, it is much more flexible with 15 printers or so around. Yeah, but if you have a single printer and just set that up perfectly, then Raspberry Pi plus Octoprint is definitely a great choice. Boring is in the Nightbug blacklist. Yeah, oh, it might actually be. Can't you control multiple printers with one Octoprint? I don't think that is implemented yet, but you can control multiple printers with one Raspberry Pi. You can run multiple Octoprint instances on one excuse me. You can run multiple Octoprint instances on a single Raspberry Pi or on a single computer. On the older Raspberries, I would not recommend that they run out of processing power really fast, really quickly, but on the new ones, the Raspberry 3, etc., you can definitely run, I don't know, 4 or 5 printers off of a single machine. It does take a bit of extra configuration, but yeah, definitely possible. So, yeah, the thing is, as it lifts up the... Why are you blurry? There we go. The thing is, as this thing lifts up... Come on now. As it lifts up, it actually turns off the exposure LED. So even if it does lift up, and even if you were able to see underneath the build plate right there, you wouldn't see the light. You're only going to see the exposure light once this thing, once it can actually make, when it lifts up again, I can show you. But when you can see between this brim and the actual build plate down to the screen, this light back here, this is all the end stop light just shining. So you can see that edge right there. Yeah, once that stays at the right level at a certain height, then you will be able to see the actual light showing up, but you're just not going to be able to see the print unless we do something really, really tall, and we're not doing something really tall today. How smelly is the resin? Yeah, I don't know if I'm just not smelling it anymore, or it's not smelling, but it does smell pretty horribly. Hello, Milton. What are you saying, man? Why does the chat say slow mode is on? That is just a YouTube feature. Slow mode, I think it's 10 seconds between messages. There are people who are who tend to write very frequently, and by default YouTube doesn't do anything to stop that. So slow mode just limits you to one message every 10 seconds. That should be okay. Yeah. What are we looking at? We are looking at Wanhao D7 printing. Is it not toxic to breathe resin vapors? I don't know. The lead screw is not moving. No, that is literally an illusion. Because if you look at the end of the lead screw, you can of course now it's back down, but if you look up here, it is very clearly moving. Let's just wait until the second one. Ooh, look, it's me. Hi. Let's see. Let's wait until the next layer comes. There we go. You can see it is turning. It is just an illusion when you just look down at the nut right there. Up, down, repeat. Yes. Super Smash Saham asking, what's up in your life? Yeah, let's do a quick therapy session, shall we? Now, actually, exciting news. I hired my first employee. Ha! Gonna start in January. That's some nice stuff. I'm hoping I'm actually gonna be getting work done then. So yeah, next year, twice the manpower in the channel. Hopefully more than 3 times the output. Yeah. Really looking forward to that. On the outgassing from uncured resin. Wheezing? What is wheezing? Guys are saying if I experience wheezing, I should increase ventilation. I guess it would be a good idea to just crack the window right here. Which I can't crack because it's... or at least open the door. There we go. That window is sealed because it was keuchen. Okay. Coughing. I mean, yeah. What about Niels? Niels is not an employee of the company. He's working for the company as a freelancer. He does like a few hours a week, just web and social media and that sort of stuff. But the more I work with people who aren't, full-time employees, the more I realize it adds a lot of work to coordinate people outside the company. So yeah, that is going to be really, really nice. Ever use Octoprint? I might have used it once, but not regularly. Ever use Matter Control? Nope. I will need to check it out. What is your weather like? I don't think we should be talking about the weather. Like we've not dropped down that far. Yeah. It's cold, it's yucky. That's it. That's all I can say about that. So, Who's that? Mike on the box is asking for a recap. What happened so far? So far, we have been printing 17 minutes and 42 seconds of... I mean, there's not much to show on the printer anyway, so... I might as well... Rip. I'm dragging the wrong window. Cool. We are printing a 3D Benchy at 25% scale, a 3D Benchy at 12.5% scale, a 25% scale Rook, a little tiny Joel, it's probably not going to come out right, and a 25% Marvin on the Wanhao Duplicator D7, which we have reconfigured the software for, which now actually does turn on the exposure LED, and I'm just, yeah, blip, there it's on. This is like one of those cob LEDs. What is this, 50 watt or something? You can actually kind of see it. Yeah, let me give you guys a peek in there. Have I used the Element? Yes, I do have one of those here. I actually unboxed it and tried it out live on stream. Wasn't too happy about it. But things might have changed. That was quite a while ago. I think that is it. Ooh, this is gonna be an exciting focus experiment. Look at that mesh cover. Oh yeah. You guys seeing anything? No, it's just dark. There we go. There's the actual LED turning on. If we switch over to manual exposure. Come on. Can someone compare SLA versus Filament? I might touch on that in a second. Can we see that? Oh, that's just a reflection. Okay, I don't think I'm... What was that? Okay, I don't think I'm going to be able to show you what I mean here, but... Yeah, this is... Yeah, that's the LED. That's the actual LED right there. Okay. But yes, it is a rather large chip. 1 second. Okay, just a tiny driver on there. I think it might actually be exactly... At least it looks like that. It looks like it is almost exactly the same as... Don't mind the driver down here. Exactly the same size as these cob LEDs. I didn't look in there really well. I mean, through the grid down here you don't see a lot, but it looks like the same size and the same style LED. So... Just for reference, there's the HDMI connectors, etc., to give you a sense of scale. That is how large the LED, I think, is in there. So that is, you know, quite a sizable chip. Quite the sizable chip. And it is, yeah, the fan, I think the fan does cool the LED mostly. There's nothing else to cool in there, obviously. Huge block of aluminum, yeah, if you just need a heatsink to try things out, then that's what you grab. There you go. Now I can actually smell the resin again. Since I stepped outside for a second. My olfactory senses are actually picking up the scent again. There we go. Yeah, so that's the size LED in there. I think it is, you know, it's one of the typical you can get these on AliExpress. They're really horrible LEDs. They're not particularly good in their light output. The light they do output is horrible, but I mean, this is a white one, so the white ones are pretty bad. But if you get them in a single color, if you get them in UV or in blue or red or whatever you want, they're one of the cheapest ways to make a lot of light. Laser can't injure your eyes. So the thing is, yes, if this is really a 50 watt LED, that is a lot of light output. Like this thing right here, if you look into this, while it's on at full blast, you're going to be seeing stars for the next 5 minutes. If you stare into this, there's a good chance you're going to be burning your retina. So these are really bright. What I'm kind of worried about with this LED, it does poke out slightly in the back, you can kind of see it there, is because it is near UV, someone mentioned it's 405 nanometers, which I guess cures the resin really well, because it's a very high energy light. It should be absorbed by your lens in your eyes. I know my glasses do absorb UV for the most part. So yeah, but it's more light than you see, I think. And that's one of the issues with UV or infrared lasers, is it is 30 watts. Okay, thank you for correcting that. It is a lot of light. It is not a lot of lumens, because lumens measures how much light your eye can pick up, but it's a lot of energy that's being emitted as far as, you know, yeah, this LED goes. Does it come with an orange enclosure? No, it does not come with an orange enclosure, but it comes with a black enclosure. So if I drop this on here without bumping anything, that's the enclosure. It is now enclosed. It is still working. It's still doing its thing. But yeah. That's the enclosure. And obviously you should be using that while you're printing, but I want to show you guys what's going on. So yeah. And while you're not printing, because any light that gets into this resin is going to spoil it over time. Cool. Sanded plates. So the print plate. Okay. Ah. D8 minus points for no heat enclosure. No heat enclosure? Neat enclosure. Okay. Yeah, so let me touch on one thing real quick. So you're not going to be able to see this, but if we take off this vat, it literally looks like they took a 5.5 inch or 5.4 inch cell phone screen, mobile phone screen, taped it down with some black tape. Well, the screen minus the actual LED diffuser light plate, whatever it is. So just the LCD part, stuck it down, and that's probably what it is. And then put a light funnel underneath it with that UV LED. Nice approach. If you drop in the driver, you have a super simple setup, and it is high resolution. It is 1440p. So how many megapixels are that? 3 megapixels on the entire surface. Decent. 47 nanometer resolution. So that is, I guess it's better than what the resin is going to cure to. You're not going to see any tree ringing for the most part, I think. 47 nanometers, micrometers, not nanometers. You're not going to see that. Yeah, what else? So somebody was asking about the differences between filament and resin printers. What is that? Ah, that's some old glass. Okay, someone was asking about differences between resin and filament printers. So, first difference. Resin printers use resin. Filament printers use not filament. Filament printers use filament. This stuff, cheap, 20 bucks a kilogram for really good filament. This stuff, also cheaper than it used to be. What is it, 60 bucks per kilogram? But it can be much more expensive than that. This stuff, you get wet, it spoils. This stuff, you get, or you just store and, or just expose it to light, it also spoils. Thing is, filament works by melting filament printers work by melting filament. They work by heating the stuff up. Resin printers work by adding energy through light into the resin, which then hardens into a rigid part. Thank you for the €5 tip, Esteban Mar. I'm not going to try to pronounce it. Thank you. So resin hardens from that liquid state or almost liquid state into a hard state by getting that energy from light. This stuff is already hard, it just gets melted down, it gets reshaped. It's the same material when you start, when you end. This stuff actually transforms itself. So, other difference, obviously, it is that the printing process is vastly different. This cures one layer at a time, so the entire layer at one or during the same duration. If we actually check out the slice view, there's not what's getting exposed in real time. I actually can't scroll, but this is what one layer looks like, and this is actually the area that gets exposed from the bottom through the LCD screen and through the LED light that is being let through. So this is the part that's being exposed. There are no lines, there are no paths that are being followed because this is all exposed at the same time. With a filament printer, you are essentially turning your 3D model into vectors. With the SLA printing, you're just turning it into layers. Other difference in materials, resin is a huge mess. Like whichever way you slice it, haha, pun not in, well, kind of intended. Resin is a mess because it gets everywhere. It is not the nicest material to deal with. You get it on your fingers, you're going to transfer it everywhere. This stuff, the only real risk you have is burning yourself, and if you're using polycarbonate or ABS, the smell too. This stuff also smells pretty horribly, but I hear there are other resins that are less nasty in their smells. Yeah, also, you don't really want to touch the resin. You don't want to get it onto your skin that often or at all. Always wear gloves if you're dealing with this. I'm not touching it right now, so I'm not putting on nitrile gloves. I will grab some as soon as I grab these parts from the build plate. So with an FDM printer, I keep reaching for the same spool. I should leave it here. With the FDM printer, you print the part, you pop it off the bed, it's done. Now it's literally, you can use it like that. You don't have to do any post-processing. You don't have to. With resin, you're always at least going to have to wash down your parts. So this is why I have the Printer Clean here, which is an alcohol cleaner. We should be able to just spray down the parts and clean off the resin, because it comes out of a resin bath. So these parts are going to be covered in liquid resin, even if this core is hardened. What you're also often going to do with resin parts is you're going to properly cure them. So sometimes your printer is set up to cure it most of the way, so that it's actually it stays in shape and is rigid. But to get the full strength and the full durability, you do have to cure it even more. You can do that outside. You can just put it in the sun if you're living somewhere where the sun is shining right now, or you can put it into a curing station, basically. So that is something you will want to do for SLA for the most part. Yeah, something you don't really have to do for FDM. It is, however, the big advantage of SLA is just the insane quality you can get out of it. If you look at these parts, they look like they've been injection molded, basically. There is no, well, at 100 microns you might see it, but typically these prints have no visible layer lines, they have no visible surface imperfections, there are no extruder issues. When a part prints, it might be deformed slightly, that's the most you're gonna get. But it is just fantastic what these things can produce resolution-wise. Yeah, FDM obviously much thicker layers, and the artifacts you see from these machines are different. So yeah, quick rundown of the most obvious differences between resin and filament-based printers. The that there are a few different approaches with resin printers. So this one uses an LCD screen and an LED from the bottom. There are also some that use DLP projectors, which is actually the your home cinema projector, 1080p projector, or whatever, that gets funneled into the bottom of the machine and then focused onto a similar vat that we have here. Instead of having the LCD down here, you actually get the projected image off of your projector. So similar thing. Would you call this DLP? This isn't using a DLP projector, it's using an LCD. So I guess there's a special terminology for this. But yeah, a similar approach there. Yeah, that, and then of course laser, but that's not really something that is still being used. Thanks for the $5 to the super chat, Jean-Francois. Sorry, I don't speak French. Videos help me tremendously, thank you. Yes, I will try to keep him up as much as I can. Right then. Direct light projection. Okay, well, digital light processing. Whatever it is. Okay. Someone was asking how the light gets to the resin. So, how do I explain this? I guess that there are nice animations about this that you can look up, that you can watch, do whatever you want with them. But basically, the way that the part is built in this guy is you have your resin vat that's just filled with resin, or with a layer of resin, and your screen that projects from the bottom, and then your build plate that goes on here. So you project one layer, you cure the resin on one layer, and then this entire thing moves up, and you cure another layer on top of that, and it moves up, and you cure another layer on top of that. So instead of putting filament onto your part and then moving the tool head up, let's actually move the part out of the resin, and the very lowest layer is always the one that's getting cured. So with a black resin, you're not going to get that much light penetration into the resin itself, which is, I guess, why this stuff isn't black per se. It is more of a, I don't know, gray, pale, black, honey-like almost color. So yeah, real black resins are going to need very thin layers. Can you cure a couple layers on top of a bare printed circuit board and use it as an etch resist? That might work. That might actually work. Standing in smell here. What do I think of SLS printing? I actually do have a few SLS printed parts that still have enough resin in here? I think so. That was sent to me, a few sample prints in nylon, I think. It's a special application. It's probably not competing with SLA or FDM. It's just its own process for the yeah, it's a very different process for very different applications. There is something floating in the vat, as it looks. That might not be good. Prices or discounts? Yeah, that Wanhao is going to have to manage that. Are the parts that come off completely solid and filled with resin? Josh Ekern is asking. Yes, they are. So again, that's one of the differences between FDM and SLA or SLS. They both share the same thing. It cannot. These machines don't use infill. So if you print a cube 10 by 10 by 10 centimeters, 100 by 100 by 100 millimeters, 4 by 4 by 4 inches, that's literally gonna use 1 liter. How many quarts are that? I have no idea. That's literally gonna use 1 liter of resin, which is really expensive. With an FDM 3D printer, you typically print the shell on the outside, either side print a top bottom layer, and use maybe 10-15% infill, you'd use, what, 200 grams of filament? You'd be done for it. Maybe, at most. So, yeah, that's not something that the slicers will do for you with resin printers. Corey the Wolf TWC is saying, yes, you can make it hollow. That is true, you can make your resin prints hollow, but you do have to design it in CAD. It's not going to be something that your slicer is going to do for you. And you will also need to have some sort of drain hole in your part. Otherwise, you're just going to, you're going to print a shell, and then you're going to have all liquid resin encapsulated in it, which doesn't get you anywhere. You need something to drain out and some place to suck air back in. And it's the same thing for laser melting, laser sintering. Shapeways, for example, will suggest to you that you maybe if you print something bulky and you don't need the strength, just put a hole in it so they can shake their powder out. SLA powder is really expensive as well. So yeah, technically these machines always print at 100% infill because, again, if you just encapsulate liquid resin in it, there's no way for it to get out. What is the total print time on this part? So let's jump back into screen cap right here. We are at 38 minutes of 56, so roughly 65.79% completed. Just on top of my head, just quick maths. And this is, let's check out the height here. I think the tallest part, yeah, might be the Joelbot. Size XYZ 11.11 millimeters tall, so yeah, half an inch if you're into that. Like 15 minutes and then we should be done. I'm not seeing any more than you guys are seeing right now. I'm literally looking at this thing and I'm going, hey, are we even clearing correctly? Do we even have a part in here? It is, yeah, we're flying blind here. What a weird German English mix. What's up with my CO10? I was actually gonna print something with it. You saw the CO10 glass on Instagram recently, which might pop up right. Do I have Instagram in this thing? Don't think I do. Yeah, big glass thing, washed it recently. I'm actually gonna print with it. It's still going strong. A few parts have fallen off, like the usual thing you should expect, but yeah, it's still around. Drucktips 3D and JMX Tech discussing the print times we're seeing here. Give me a second. Hotkeys. What are my hotkeys? If I press that and press that, then nothing's gonna happen. Okay, cool. That's still not working. Let's see. Configure. So this is the exposure time we're getting here. So we have 15 seconds per layer. And we're lifting up 4 millimeters between layers. So every layer it goes up 4 millimeters and then drops back down 3.9. Just so we get some fresh resin under the part. And obviously we unstick it from that FEP layer that's sitting on top of the LCD. There we go. How long can you store the resin? I think, well, if you keep it dark and cool, etc., yeah, at least. Why did that now turn off? That's not what I wanted. How long can you store it? Probably, if you store it well, cool, dry, dark, probably a few years. Contaminations have any effect on print quality? Probably. 6 months after opening? Don't think so. Did I make the A8 review finally? What? I didn't even build that printer yet. That's still in a box. Like, Is this version 1.4? Yes, it is. Did I see the YouTube vid from Sexy Cyborg, Real Sexy Cyborg, about the CO10 Reality Factory tour? No, I did not. I do have to check that out. So yeah, first 2 hours you're not going to see much. True. This is why I'm like so excited about this thing. I'm not seeing any more than you guys are. So yeah, we did have this question a few times. How much does the resin cost? Can you use different brands? Yes, you can use different brands. It is no real... I mean, there's nothing proprietary to it. It's just a resin that's getting exposed. I'm sure there are different resins that work better and some that don't work as well, but there's nothing stopping you from using other resin brands. Are the prints from these resins typically food safe? Ooh. I'd say yes, but I would check that it's fully cured. That is number one. Definitely don't use anything that is uncured. And maybe you'll be able to find resins that are specifically rated to get or to get cured to a food safe state. In the raw form like this, it's definitely not food safe. Food safe is country subjective. That is very true. How are the costs versus 3D printing? About 3 times as expensive per volume versus filament. Can you reuse the surplus resin in the tray? Yes, you can. I'm gonna dump this stuff back into the storage container that came with it, this guy, because I've not been treating it well. This is mixed up with resin that's been sitting basically in the open in a clear plastic container. So this isn't the freshest resin, and I do want to keep this stuff in here as like completely fresh, unspoiled filament. And plus, I'm using this in the open with a bright lighting situation with fluorescent lighting basically everywhere, which is high in UV. It's filtered out supposedly, but it's probably still going to cure it slightly. So yeah, this is, if you put the lid on, if you treat it carefully, you will be able to reuse this, unless you get like little flakes and little hardened parts in it, which I can already see here. But yeah, you can reuse it. You don't have to throw this out. It would be a huge waste. Huge. What are we printing? Again, this is what we're printing. Keep in mind, this bench is already at 25% scale, so these are some really, really tiny parts. 10 minutes, roughly. Wow. The excitement is unbearable. It's not filament? Uncured filament. It's the same stuff. It's your raw material. I can call it filament, right? What color are we printing? Supposedly this is black Wanhao resin. I might have forgotten to shake it up, but yeah, it's black resin, theoretically. FDM seem to make better demonstrations. Yep, definitely. Point 1. Yes, point 1 is our layer head. Blackhawk is asking, where do I see 3D printing in 10 years? Hopefully a bit more user-friendly than what we have today. I keep preaching it. Few companies are catching on. It seems like all people are caring about is getting the machines cheaper, but you know, obviously you're going to lose out on features and usability if you go for the $120 versus a more sophisticated $800 machine. But it depends on what the market wants. If the market wants cheaper printers that are more, you know, focused towards the DIY user, then that's what we're going to get. If we want to get into schools and into education and into, you know, everybody's homes, then we're going to need some different machines. I have no idea where that's going to take us. For me, I appreciate machines that are moddable, that are, you know, powerful and versatile, etc. But I definitely see the need for more approachability. So yeah, depends on what the people want. I'm sure hoping that we've got things more figured out than we have today. Joshua, thank you for the $5 tip. Content is super helpful. Yeah, you're probably looking at the older stuff. I do want to get back to that style of content. Hopefully, next year, with the employee, I can just start pumping out stuff. Also, while we're here, last few minutes in the print, we are 9 minutes out from completing. Get hyped for December. I'm going to be working with Trinamic on a week-long project. We're going to be building a hang printer with Trinamic drivers. Trinamic, I don't know which one we're going to use, but we're going to build the official hang printer. We're going to have Torbjörn Ludwig, however he's pronounced, Torbjörn. We're going to have him on site with us for the entire week. The inventor, creator, designer of the hang printer. He's going to be building a hang printer with us for the week. We're going to have basically the same content as we did for the dolly, which is upstairs right now. Software and basic principles. We're going to have a hardware rundown, where to get stuff. We're going to live build the thing in Hamburg at the Trinamic offices in a live stream. And then a discussion of what to change, etc., etc. It's going to be a huge week. I don't know if I'm looking forward to that, but it is. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be good fun. And since you guys seem to enjoy the Prusa clone, the dolly build, I think that's going to be a great week to join in. So that is going to be the week of December 11th. Official announcement. Announcement over. Yeah, so that, if you don't know the hang printer, there is a video about it on my channel that I filmed in Sweden at the beginning of this year. It's basically a huge, it's like a room scale Delta printer. It is crazy. It's some crazy stuff. Yeah. Cool. How much longer? 6 minutes. Okay. What's my background? Mechatronics engineer. That is correct. Ooh. Cutter Slate is asking, can we come to Hamburg to watch live? Ooh. I'm gonna have to ask Trinamic about that. I'd say no, because it's gonna be in Trinamic's basically lunchroom, I guess. That's the largest space they have. I don't know if they can just. I'll have to ask what we can do, but I've seen pictures of the space. If we were able to do that, we'd be able to fit like 10 people max. Probably not. February there's going to be 1,000 hang printers made. I sure hope so. Yeah, Nightbot is set pretty aggressive. Sorry about that. Just got it safe. Why Delta? Is Prusa style with big truss and spindles not better? You can't build a Prusa that large. Go watch the hang printer video. If someone wants to post that, it is literally impossible to print or to build a XYZ moving bed style machine that size. It does not make any sense. Has anything been printed? What jokes do we have that you debate? Has anything been printed? We don't know. I sure hope it has. Is Nightbot actually a YouTube bot or something of yourself? It is a bot that is run by... is it Streamlabs? Some service. It is literally a bot. It is literally an automated algorithm that has a blacklist and a few rules. Are we posting a bomb for the hang printer project? Yes, we will. We will have the same sort of documentation that is up for the Dolly Mark II clone. So a full BOM with Night Dev, yes. A full BOM with all the parts, where to get them, how many you need, what lengths you need. We're going to have that as a rundown video. We're going to tell you, or we're going to show you how to set up the software. We're going to show you how to calibrate it. We're going to show you how to build the entire thing and how to use it. So the full package. This should be the entire process from start to finish, from ordering the first thing on AliExpress to actually getting a 5-meter tall print out of it. Hopefully. I have no idea how well it's going to go. I hope it's going to be awesome. Right. How expensive will it be? You know, the hang print is actually, there's not much to it. You don't need a frame, you don't need any linear rails, you don't need a lot of stuff that actually goes into a traditional 3D printer. The only thing you need is fishing line, quite a few meters of it, and a few pulleys, etc. And of course motors, hot ends, etc. That sort of stuff. But it's mostly printed parts. It is most likely going to be, yeah, the cheapest printer that I've ever built. Mostly, because pretty much any 3D printer kit, you take the motors, you take the parts, you throw out the frame, you throw out the linear parts, and you have the parts for a hang printer. I think, plus 3D printed parts. So that is going to be, yeah, very, very nice machine, I think. So close. 54, 56, 93.76%. When am I getting a new Prusa Mark III? Well, whenever it's out. I don't think a single unit has been shipped yet. I am me is asking, am I going for the recommended BOM or the cheapest BOM on the hang printer? There's not much difference there. If you see, if you look at the parts that Torbjörn actually built his hang printer out of, it's a few stepper motors. It's a genuine E3D Volcano. That's one of the parts you probably should be using. You can, of course, use the Chinese one, but I can't guarantee that it's going to work as well. Genuine E3D Volcano. Did I mention ramps? Yes, ramps, Arduino Mega, stepper motors, and the rest is like, yeah, I mean, stepper motors, there's not much of a price difference. Ramps are $3.50. I just bought one yesterday. Arduino, plus the good thing is you don't need high quality components. You don't need a board with a proper heated bed output. You don't need that because it doesn't have a heated bed. Of course, we are going to use Trinamic parts because stepper drivers and reliability, etc. But you can also build it with regular stepper drivers and get a bit lower performance out of it. So, yeah. We're going to do what we're going to be building with, and you can substitute your own. Right. Buy a new garage. How do you deal with air quality in your lab? I don't. I wish I could peek in there. This is so nerve-wracking. So 2 more layers, I think? 3 more layers. I don't know if the estimate actually updates while we're printing. It's 56 minutes, 17 out of 50, 56:44. So we should be done really quickly. USB endoscope in a hole in the vat. I don't think you can really cut a hole in here at all. Should have printed with clear resin. Alright, last layer, I think? Maybe? Definitely close. Look at that. I mean, you guys are complaining that I'm tight on the... There we go. Part-time rounding. Thank you. That my block list is too strict. I should have made it even stricter, I guess. Okay, so I guess the estimate does not update because we're at 57 minutes out of 56. Okay, but we are done. We are done. Check this out. That's parts! We got parts! That doesn't even look half bad. Gotta tell you, look at that tracking. Okay. That is some real 3D printed parts. Can we rotate this? I can see Benji, I can see a Marvin back there. Look at that. There's a Benji up front. What's that on the side though? Is that the wow. Okay. The Joel bot got kind of mangled. Sorry about that, Joel. But we have parts that printed. How do I take this off? Give me a second while I try and figure this out. So this is already messy. Let's just try and drop it on here. Needs cleaning. Joelbot fell over? Maybe, but there's some parts that definitely have printed. Ow. Okay, let's turn this guy off. Ooh, that was... Oh, my screens are acting up. Please don't crash stream. Don't let me down. Let's close out of... What's going on? Ah! Was that an... There we go. That looks better. Okay, the slicer software just crashed. Apparently you can't just turn off the printer. Okay. Let's do something. Let's unplug this. And maybe get the Coke out of the way. Gloves, yes, fresh gloves. %95 alcohol. So this stuff I think is not that pure. Let me get some pure alcoholic liquids. Yep. I of course could have planned ahead. Actually, I'm going to take off this shirt just to not, dunk it into resin. Okay, we're going to use this top lid. I'm going to have to clean this off afterwards. Anyways, for the parts, how do I adjust my camera? I guess this one first. Give me a second here. This is not going to be able to touch stuff for a while once I'm done with this, unfortunately. So there's going to be a working surface, I guess. Yeah. This is like the quick release. You can either totally unscrew it or take it out like that. Okay, so there is, actually, holy moly. Holy shit, guys. This is... Check this out. I don't have any resin on there. The Joelbot. That's the one that I'm really surprised about. The Joelbot. This guy right here. This did not fall over. This has basically printed perfectly. I mean, of course you can see all the blobs in there, and that is just resin residue, liquid resin, uncured resin. But holy moly, guys! This is fantastic. So what I will try to do is grab the... Okay, there we go. Drip, drip, drip. I will try and wash this down with the printer clean. I guess a better way to do it would be to actually dunk it into some alcohol bath. But this is like the... okay, we don't think we have a ton of resolution here. This is like the least invasive way of doing this I can think of right now. As I'm spraying resin everywhere, okay. But it seems to dissolve it quite well. Probably doing this super wrong. It looks like it's almost a bit over cured, like the rook. I'm definitely spraying resin everywhere. The rook and the Marvin, they are lacking a bit in resolution. It might also just be, you know, the extra resin having to be flushed out. I don't actually want to do anything mechanical to these, like brush them off or anything. And I don't feel like taking them off the platform right now. Yeah, there's resin and stuff everywhere. Resolution sucks at 100 microns. Yes, I know, should have printed finer, but don't really have the time for that. Okay, I'm gonna spray down this entire thing and get it kind of clean. That is resin. Okay, and just try to get as much of the resin off as I can. So yeah, there are obviously better ways to do this. There are more professional ways to clean off the resin, etc. I'm not set up for that. That's one of the things you have to keep in mind. If you do get one of these SLA machines, you will also need like a dedicated cleaning space for these parts, etc. Okay. Yeah, what a mess. Okay, my fault. Let's try to get these off, I guess. Yeah, so how do I wash these out? I guess I would need to actually dunk them into pure alcohol. Let me get another bowl for that. Don't have any here. It's just me trying to get the resin off. Okay, it should be good. Well, okay, whatever. How do I take these off? I guess I can scrape these off, maybe. I'm figuring this out as much as anyone else right now. There we go. So, idea: this tin. Candles around the studio would look nice. What are you guys talking about? This tin I'm gonna fill with alcohol, aka ethanol. There we go. Yeah, candles around the studio. Okay, now I get what you mean. Ethanol in there. And let's just drop these parts one after another. You can see kind of lifting off. There we go. One. Hoping that's at least somewhat of the correct job for the tool. The correct tool for the job. Okay, it's still pretty sticky. Yeah, home run. Okay. Okay, this is. It's actually. I'm not well prepared. Starting to realize. This is going to be a mess. So yeah, again, you will probably want like a dedicated cleanup station for this. We'll put on my gloves, not super nasty yet. So 2 parts in there. Use a razor blade. I don't know. It's coming off well enough. Get in there. There we go. Okay. Well. Nope. There we go. Using my elbow to press the switch buttons there. Okay, that's that. Let's get the resin back in the... I'm going to have to clean every single one of these. Cover everything in Saran wrap. Yeah, good idea. I'm going to have to clean every single thing of that touch. These nuts as well. Resin seems messy. Yes, resin is definitely messy. I've been warned about this. And so far it's proven to be, yeah, pretty accurate. I'm sure there's better ways to do this. Like, again, you probably want this in a separate enclosed area. You want to be a bit better prepared than I am. It's cleaner than the CNC. I wouldn't say that. CNC makes dust. This stuff makes smeary, slimy mess. Ooh, there's... What the heck is that? What the heck is that? Yeah. Okay, I don't think I want it in there. You guys seen this? Got like a layer, a cured layer of resin. Was that still in the vat? Guess I should have cleaned that up. But yeah, that's gonna go in the trash. Also, doing this with an assistant, where you don't have to do everything yourself, is probably gonna be a lot easier than doing this with one pair of hands that are gonna get covered in resin every few minutes. Where to from here? Resin container, resin insert, lid. Also covered in resin. I need some tweezers. I'm gonna need to get these gloves off without getting resin all over me. This is gonna be challenging because my fingers are covered. And with the resin on these, I can't even pull the gloves off. This is gonna be my life now. Shit! There you go. One glove off. Another. Okay. Clean sand. I'm gonna deal with this later. For now, I just want to. Holy shit! That is some accuracy, some resolution there, right there. Go 50. Not today. Not today. Sorry. Tweezers. tweezers. Yeah, obviously you're not limited to printing tiny parts. I'm just printing tiny parts here because it's fast. And I wanted something fast to show. Why do I not have any tweezers around here? What kind of person doesn't have any? There we go. Any tweezers at hand. So, let me show you. Did I miss anything? I think I missed a $5 super chat from Randall Black. Thank you for that. Okay. Here we go. Let's pull these things out. I think most of the resin is gone and dissolved away at this point. Camera dropping? No. Sorry, this is connect. Connect what? Reconnect? Resin killed the stream? You guys are focus, you guys are confusing me. I'm just gonna assume we're all good. Resin Nightmare. There are more elegant ways to do this, surely. There must be. Okay. There's our holy crap. This looks so good. Guys, like, obviously there is still a bit of alcohol in there, but this looks amazing. Even at the 100 micron layers, which people are saying, hey, maybe don't use that. But holy crap, guys! I'm gonna zoom in a second and give you a better view. But compared to FDM, this is a whole nother level. First print of this machine too. Like, of course, we did have a bit of guidance from Wanhao themselves. Did just touch resin? Yes, I did. Okay, I'm gonna spray that down in a second. This one, not too good of a resolution, but sorry, this isn't that. That looks more like the clear resin. You guys were saying, yeah, definitely that's the black resin. I guess saying, definitely clear resin. Come on, decide on something. All right. There's like resin drops all over the desk. There we go. There's the tiny Joel robot laying down. How close can we actually focus? Let's see. A bit closer. Okay, so I can hold up prints. There we go. There is my finger for reference. I guess I should do this from the other side. That's my finger. That's the 25% scale benchy. So there we go. That's not going to focus. Okay, let's just forget about trying to get that focus. 25% benchy. Geometrically not perfect, but definitely much better than what you get off an FDM machine. Let me make it a bit brighter. There we go. There we go. Much better than what you'd get off of an FDM machine. Again, this was printed at 100 microns, the lowest resolution you can get out of this machine. If I can get this guy to stand up. There we go. There's a little tiny Joel. You can see that the knee's poking out. I guess if we wash this down a bit better, we'd get more details. I think a bit of this is still resin. That's just, come on, I can't even grab this. I don't want to touch that. This is like a minefield right now. Look at that. That is the lowest possible resolution. Again, if we were to do this, if we had a bit more time, we'd be able to print this even finer. And it's amazing. Again, this is my fingertip right there. This is amazing how tiny the details can come out here. Did it print holes in the front of the Benchy? Let's just check that out. So, no, I'm not seeing anything here. Is this still wet? Maybe so. That's the Benchy from the side. I'm getting covered in resin again. Uno momento. Really don't want this stuff on your skin. No SLA resin should get on your skin. So, yeah, I don't care if it's on the table. So, side of the Benchy, no holes right there. Actually, where am I moving? Actually, a bit rounded over if you look at it. It looks like there's a tiny bit of curling down on the bow. That's something that you often get with SLA. And on the bottom, no, there's no text. There's just nothing there. But again, this is the lowest possible resolution that we can get out of this machine. That's just the texture of the bottom plate. So we can do 4 times the resolution we got here. So you can kind of see the layer lines up top there. Yeah, you get very similar layer lines on FDM prints. Again, this is 100 microns. Let's check out the tiny Benchy. This is going to be hard to hold. I guess I can put just on top of here. Kind of. This is a 12.5% Benchy. You can see a hair right there. Again, super low resolution for this machine, but it prints, and this is, again, that is my finger. That's the Benchy. You can see that it's a Benchy, and it's probably more detail, more resolution than you're ever going to need. Now this Rook, on the other hand, I don't know what exactly is going on there, but there's, get away. But there's like no material. Well, it's just filled with material. I don't know if that over-cured, if that, it looks like the top here is a bit fatter than it needs to be. Look at that, like typically that is not as thick. But yeah, also printed. It's also there. A bit over-cured in the center maybe. And then the Marvin, which, I mean, I love how these layers look. You might say, okay, this resolution is pathetic, yada yada yada. And it probably is, and you can see these parts are still slightly sticky. You can see if I'm not shaking that much, you can see the layer lines. Where's my focus? I guess right around here. You can see the layer lines up top. But pretty much all the detail is there. The hole in the keychain thing, I think that came out, that printed. Yeah, and like the front obviously has a ton of detail, a ton of resolution. Okay, pretty hard to show these off, but the one thing that's still impressing me a lot is this tiny Joel robot. Again, I'm trying not to touch the resin over there. There we go. Got it to stand up. This way. There it is. And again, lowest possible resolution. I'm impressed. So the way was a bit rough to get here. Let's just drop that next to it. The way was a bit rough to get to this place, but I think it's worth it. For applications where you just need that last bit of resolution, people want an SD card. So there's a micro SD card, I guess. There's a full-size SD card. For when you just absolutely need the resolution, there is almost no way around this. You might be able to get it with FDM if you use just a tiny it's still sticky. If you just use like a super tiny nozzle or anything, but yeah, you're not gonna get this sort of resolution out of it. And again, this is the lowest resolution setting. It still needs to be cured apparently. Okay, because it's sticking. Anyways, okay. That has been... Oh. That has been quite a ride. So, prints, that's my finger. That's the parts. Kinda. Okay. That has been quite a ride. So I would certainly wish that the documentation, the software was a bit better on the Wanhao side. But again, for how much is this machine? $600 or something, and you do get a bit of resin with it. Come on, stand up. Can't be that hard. Ah! This stuff is still sticky. You do get a bit of resin with it. It's a nice thing to have around. It is a nice tool to have in your assortment. I'm stoked. I'm definitely going to try something even finer. So 25 micron is one of the profiles that you're getting with it as a ready-to-go profile. I'm not sure how well the platform is leveled in right now. It might need to go up a bit further, and I will definitely need to use some fresh resin with that. Because if we reach in here, I think this was just one of the... Oh, yeah. Okay. So either this was from just being exposed out here, or this was from... this must be fresh. I don't know. But for some reason we have a fat resin layer in here. I will need to clean that out. That is disgusting. I'll need to clean that out. Might be my fault. Might just be something that it can work around by being a bit more clean with your entire work environment. All right. Cool. $350 plus shipping. That has come down in price quite a bit. I'm out of focus. Right. I'm going to go clean this stuff up. Let's see. Anything I missed in... Now I have a sticky SD card. Yes, I do. Anything I missed in chat? Probably not. Articulated models can be printed. Yes, they can be printed in one piece. You can break them free. Settings were for black. I don't know what this is. This might be black resin that hasn't been shaken up well. But anyways, thank you everyone for being here. Thank you for sticking around through this exciting process. If you want to check out the original unboxing, you can do that. It's probably going to be suggested by YouTube somewhere on the on your right side. Shirts, you can get these. It might have popped up in the info bar over there. tomstudio.org/ribbon. This one with the frog on it, or you can get the one with the dragon. Either one are available on Spreadshirt. What else? Like the video if you liked it. Dislike it if you didn't like it. If you don't want me to print tiny stuff. Anyways, yes. If you're new, subscribe. I don't know. See you. Have a nice weekend. See you guys around. Stop this thing. Thanks for being here.